I think my favorite episode was the Holiday Armadillo.
Do you have anything Christmassy? I promised my son, and I really don't want to disappoint him. I'm the Holiday Armadillo!
When I was a kid, I remember that quite well, but I was infatuated with the costumes and the practical effects that they had, so and that was probably my most memorable thing to shoot.
Ben, you know, when you were a baby, you and I used to hang out all the time. 'Cause I was your daddy's girlfriend.
But you're not anymore.
I remember at the time feeling quite intimidated. The nature of a guest star role is you sort of walking into, at this point, Friends was a very well-oiled machine.
Because you guys were on a break.
Hey, we were not.
And I was quite young and all the actors were older, but I remember all those worries kind of fading away when the cast was so nice. I was schooling on set when I was there and had a lot of interesting memories about the people, you know, the sort of famous individuals who were filtering around and hanging around backstage. But I had a really wonderful time on that. I'm pretty sure I fell in love with Jennifer Aniston, which the whole world had at that point, but I do remember being quite intimidated around her because of that. I remember blanking on my lines and having a kind of stage fright when she sat next to me on the couch in one episode, I think it was. And I remember there was a camera or like a boom op who caught on to it and was like, "Little boy's got a crush," or I forget what they said, but of course I turned bright red. But I do remember, I remember feeling like I fell in love. No one even knew I was in that show until it had a sort of second life online or with digital consumption. It's just really interesting to think that I mean, it's still such a popular show and people are so in love with it. It's one of those things that they'll watch over and over and over and over again. And with the success of Riverdale and that sort of revival, people ended up going back and realizing I was on Friends. Because both shows are on Netflix, they ended up kind of discovering that I was there, which was weird because I was never really recognized for that for a long time.
Do you remember all that stuff I taught you yesterday?
Remember all that stuff I taught you yesterday?
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I mean, I really wasn't, at that point, too prominent figure in the show. I was like one of those little working actors that sort of just popped in and out and left. So it's funny that I've been asked so much about it because it's one of those things I was like, yeah, I mean, I had kind of a part on the show. But that just goes to show how popular it is and how much people are in love with it. I think it exists within this capsule that shows really couldn't be made within anymore. I think the nature of film and television has changed so much, and there's something that still very much resonates with people about Friends and the comedy and how close the cast was and just how iconic the entire cast was at the time. It still is. It's second coming upon Netflix and that digital consumption, I would say certainly helps. That's when a majority of young people within my audience found out about my being on it, so I could only assume that it tagged an entirely new, younger generation. And it's funny. That's really all that really matters. Like, truly, that's the litmus test. If it's funny and the